The Transport Minister says the invasive strip search of Australian women in Qatar was the context for a decision to block that nation's airline from flying more services into major Australian airports. Live to Joel Philp. He joins us from Canberra Airport this morning where this press conference just was. Joel, the Minister wouldn't reveal, though, what the other factors were.
No, she wouldn't, Pete. She said that this decision was made in the national interest, that there were other factors, but she wouldn't reveal what those factors were. She was pressed by journalists many times on that question. She also wouldn't specify who she consulted with to make the decision, and there are reports that her department actually recommended that this bid from Qatar Airways for an extra 28 flights into major Australian airports be embraced. Now, I asked her about reports that she had in fact signed off on a letter to some of these women who claim they were invasively searched at a Qatar airport back in 2020 on the same day that she rejected that bid from Qatar Airways to embrace more flights into this country. Now, and I asked her also whether this was a factor for them, whether it was important for them that more flights not come into the country. This was her response.
I received a letter from Mark lawyers on behalf of these women detailing their experiences, which are pretty awful. They are, frankly, not anything we would expect anyone, and certainly no Australian travelling on an international airline, to experience. That is just a fact. And we received some media inquiries about that. I took the decision on the 10th of July, signed a letter to the women informing them that that decision had been made on the 10th of July. You can read what you want into that.
Catherine King said that she had not personally read a letter sent by then Qantas CEO Alan Joyce back in October about this Qatar Airways decision, arguing that more flights would, quote, distort the market. She said that that was sent to her department, but she hadn't read it personally, and that she had in fact received more lobbying on this issue from Qatar Airways than Qantas. She said that the suggestion that this decision would disrupt competition within Australia's airline market was nonsense. Take a listen.
Like, I get people are angry at Qantas. I get that people are angry about, the service standards. They're angry about the way in which flight credits have been dealt with, and rightly they should be. And we've criticised Qantas about that as well. But to suggest that competition in international aviation is solely hinged on Qatar is just an absolute nonsense.
It reflects poorly on the Labor government. It reflects poorly, in particular, on Minister Catherine King. Let's just look at reality here. We've had two Labor ministers go out, one who said you can't define the national interest. I'm pretty sure any high school kid could do that. And secondly, we saw another that said they had to protect the national carrier. Well, how about we protect the Australian people? How about we protect them from prices that they shouldn't have to pay, which are exorbitant?
Today, the government launched its aviation green paper, which the Transport Minister said was about the future of an industry which had been allowed to, quote, drift too long. The Minister also said that the government would cooperate with an upcoming Senate inquiry into its decision to block that bid, which was successfully secured by the opposition. Pete?
OK, Joel Philp with the latest from Canberra. Thanks, Joel.